Here we are going to learn how the continuous X-rays are produced in the case of Coolidge tube. There are two kind of X-rays are produced in the Coolidge tube. One is called characteristic X-rays and another one is called continuous X-rays. Both continuous X-rays and characteristic X-rays both are produced in the Coolidge tube simultaneously. Here we are going to learn how the continuous X-rays are produced in the case of Coolidge tube. Here you have to assume that this is the atomic system of tungsten or molybdenum. So that one is acting as a target. So this is the electron which comes out from the tungsten filament that is accelerated by the anode. So because of acceleration, the electron will have tremendous amount of energy. Its kinetic energy is too high. Therefore, it is called as high energy electron. So that is made to hit on the incident on the target material, and that electron it enters into the atomic system of tungsten or molybdenum. When high energy electron, when it is penetrating into the atomic system, there is a chance of traveling in this direction. So when it enters without having any collision or interaction with the electrons in the orbit, it may travel in this path, and when it comes very closer to the nucleus, what will happen? No, the nucleus is having positive charge and the electrons are having negative charge. So the electron it may be attracted by the nucleus. Are you clear? It may be attracted by the nucleus. So after attraction, due to the Coulombian attractive force, it may travel in this path because of attraction. So instead of traveling in this direction, its path may be deviated. Its path may be deviated, and in the meantime, the high energy electron, its speed is also decreased, that is decelerated. Deceleration means decrease in speed is called deceleration. So initially the kinetic energy, the speed of the electron will be very high and its energy can be taken as E1. So after deceleration, the electron it loses some amount of energy. Are you clear? So the new energy of the electron can be taken as E2. After deceleration, the electron it has lost some amount of energy. The new energy can be called as E2. So the difference between these two energies, E1 and E2, that one is emitted in the form of radiation. Are you clear? So depends on the energy difference, the wavelength of the outcoming X-ray photon is clear will be there. Are you clear? So a photon is emitted, that is nothing but X-ray photon. Its frequency will be very high and the wavelength will be very less. Such kind of radiation is emitted. So the wavelength of the or frequency of the emitted X-ray photon that depends on the energy difference between the highly energetic electron which enters into the system and after deceleration. Are you clear? So depends on the energy different kind of X-ray photons are emitted with a different wavelength. So continuously clear there is a emission of X-rays with a different wavelength. That's why these spectral lines are called continuous X-ray spectrum. Are you clear? Here there is no collision or interaction between the highly energetic electron and the electron in the orbit. So here the path is deviated only because of the Coulombian attractive force, and it is deviated. So the energy is lost by the electron. The loss of energy of the electron is emitted in the form of X-ray photon. So now we can write the new equation. Are you clear? So which one is converted into which one? The loss of energy of high energy electron, high energy electron that penetrating electron is converted into energy of the emitted X-ray photon. Are you clear? That loss of energy of the high energetic electron is converted into energy of the emitted X-ray photon. So therefore we can write the new equation as E1 minus E2. What is E1? Initially it is having tremendous amount of energy, kinetic energy, that is represented by E1. After that it loses the energy, So the new energy is E2. You should know one thing, that E1 is greater than E2. So there is a difference in energy, loss of energy. That is emitted in the form of which one? The X-ray photon. X-ray photon energy can be obtained by the expression h nu. Are you clear? Now, here in this radiation, among all the radiations, look at here, longer wavelength radiation is emitted, shorter wavelength radiation is also emitted. Among that, let's look at the least wavelength radiation, that is called lambda naught. The wavelength of the least wavelength radiation, X-ray radiation, is called cutoff wavelength, and that one will have the highest frequency with the lowest wavelength. Are you clear? Highest frequency will be there for this radiation, but wavelength will be very less. This lambda naught is called cutoff wavelength. What is cutoff wavelength? This is the minimum wavelength of X-ray radiation which is emitted in the continuous X-ray spectrum. Now we are going to derive the expression for lambda naught cutoff wavelength. Are you clear? Now the loss of energy of the high energy electron can be written as, what is this? EV. EV is the energy of the loss of energy of the electron, and then h nu naught can be written. So since the frequency is very high, we can write nu naught. We know the expression that C is equal to nu naught lambda naught can be written. Nu naught lambda naught can be written. This is a relation between speed of the X-rays, frequency of the X-rays, and wavelength of the X-rays. Therefrom, we are able to get the expression nu naught as C by lambda naught. Substitute here. EV is equal to h C by lambda naught can be written. Therefrom, we can obtain the expression for cutoff wavelength. Lambda naught is equal to cross multiply hc by E into V can be written. Here you should know what are h, c, E and V. H is nothing but Planck's constant, c is speed of the X-rays, E is the charge of the electron, V is the accelerating potential which is applied between cathode and anode. So this is the only variable factor. Now substitute. Here h can be written as 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second, and 3 into 10 to the power of 8. So that is the value of which one? Speed of the X-rays. In the denominator, charge of the electron is 1.609 into 10 to the power of minus 19 can be written, and the only variable factor is V. Only variable factor is V. So finally, you will be getting the answer as 12400 divided by V, Armstrong unit. So this is the final expression to calculate the cutoff wavelength, and this formula is called Duven-Hunt law. Duven-Hunt formula. Duven-Hunt formula. Are you clear? So by using this Duven-Hunt formula, which one can be calculated? The wavelength of the cutoff wavelength of the X-rays can be calculated. By knowing the V, lambda naught can be calculated. If the accelerating potential is too high, the cutoff wavelength will be very, very low. So clear. Therefrom, we are able to calculate the least wavelength of radiation, X-ray radiation, which is emitted from the Coolidge tube, can be calculated by knowing the V, accelerating potential. If V is high, lambda naught will be very low. So know the formula. By using this, we can do the problem. So the only thing is here, the main important thing is the fast moving electron, when it enters into the atomic system, what happens? The nucleus of the atomic system that pulls, that attracts the electron, because of that its path is deviated, and what happens? Due to Coulombian attractive force, the speed of the electron is reduced, that is decelerated. After deceleration, the electron loses its energy. That loss of energy of the electron is emitted in the form of X-rays of various wavelengths. Since all sort of wavelengths are emitted, such kind of spectrum is called as, X-rays are called as continuous X-rays. Very important topic, may be asked in 3 mark or in 5 mark. Okay, thank you.